Hello, everybody. This is Angela here from Bookaholic Brown Name. Today, I am back to you with a brand new book review. The book, as such, is not brand new. It was published back in 2008. It even won the Man Booker Prize, and it is written by an Indian author. And the book is called The White Tiger. The reason I took this book to read, of course, you would have guessed it, is because of the movie trailer that came out last week. The movie White Tiger, starring the most stunning, gorgeous, amazingly successful diva Priyanka Chopra and Rajkumar Rao. I have no idea why I have been, postponing the reading of this book for such a long time. For some reason, I just couldn't pick it up and read it for whatever reasons. But okay, when Priyanka Chopra is making a movie based on a book, then I had to read it. So I'm really looking forward to the Netflix release. I think it is charted to be released somewhere around January. Uh, so yes, so let's get into the book review. In this book, the author refers to villages of India, the poor, underdeveloped villages of India, as the darkness, where no politicians ever conduct any kind of visit. You do not see electricity or water connection, and they are forgotten and ignored by the politicians and the businessmen of this country alike to rot in their poverty, malnutrition, and child mortality. So this part of the India is referred to as darkness, and the other part is referred to as the light, the modern cities of India, which are kind of reflection of great cities around the world. So these are the two Indias that we get to see through the story of the protagonist of this book called Balram. And through his eyes, we get to see the gritty, monstrous, and dark side of both these Indias. The book is written in the form of several letters that Balram writes to the president of China, or the premier of China, who is scheduled to visit India very soon. I'm convinced that the colorful pamphlet that he will be shown by the Indian authorities who are hosting him will not represent the actual India, or the real picture of India. He undertakes the task of showing the real image of India to him by narrating his own life story. So that is the premise. Now, the raw portrait of the village inhabited by these miserable, poverty-ridden people controlled by three greedy landlords is so accurately painted by the author using page after page of gritty and witty prose. So, like I said, the story is about him narrating his journey of being this extremely obedient, servile, pushover kind of a driver from some remote village in Delhi, the darkness, to being a successful entrepreneur in Bengaluru. Also, he makes it a point to unapologetically show his frustration that he was taken out of school even though he was brilliant in studies, to support his family, so that he can be a driver, earn money, and send it back to his family, who kind of are ripping him apart. Right, and I think that's the fate of most men of working age in those kind of situations. And there is this one incident where he is driving his boss and his wife to some place, and they are talking about him, saying that, oh, look at him, how half baked he is, he's not educated, he doesn't have any general knowledge, and he's not aware of what's happening around. So he grudgingly, forms a retort in his mind, saying that yes, of course, fully formed men who have completed 12 years of school and 3 years of their graduation, they wear nice suit and join companies and be and take orders from others. But entrepreneurs are made from half-baked clay, like myself. So you can see there that even though he is very upset and angry and frustrated that he couldn't complete his education, at the same time he is not going to sit back and admit, or at least in his head admit, that he is not a success. As much as this story is about Balram, this story is also about corruption. So, being in India, none of us are, foreign to the idea of corruption. It's everywhere and anywhere, right? So, Balram's first encounter with corruption is with his school headmaster, who keeps siphoning off the money that is being sent by Indian government for free lunch for the school children and free school uniforms. And the funny part is that he doesn't accuse the schoolmaster as such, and nobody in the village as such accuses him of doing a huge big crime. Just like us, we also dismiss a small time corruption that we see right in front of us in India. We just tend to dismiss it as a minor thing and something that we have to live with and something we cannot avoid. And he says that you can't expect a man living in a dung heap to smell sweet. And some people in his village even appreciated him for getting off without being caught. So that is his first encounter with corruption. Now the second encounter is when the local election happens, and there is nothing much to say here. I think the entire thing can be summed up in one sentence, which I would like to read it out to you. I am India's most faithful voter, and I still have not seen the inside of a voting booth. I think that summarizes his whole experience. And I don't know if this happens everywhere in India, because I grew up in Kerala. I haven't never seen such a thing happening in Kerala. It could happen in other parts of India, or I don't know if this is a simple exaggeration, but something similar to this could happen. There are a lot of proxy voters, and multiple voting happens, and all that. All these things happens in India, right? So, so he refers to it. There is funny, but at the same time dark incident that happens around election time. You should read the book to understand what it is. But yeah, so the whole book uh, paints a picture of corruption in such a way that you relate to it as an Indian, and you can understand it as an Indian, and you say that, oh yeah, this has happened to me, or I have heard of this, oh, this is something very common, I know about this. And you don't feel that this is something of an extremely unbelievable premise that the author has set. Also, what one thing I really liked about this character Balram is that, as you know, he's this innocent or naive, you could say, not just innocent, naive person coming from a remote village in India, who doesn't have the idea of political correctness as such. Like in the people in the West. Or people who are more into mainstream, who are more exposed to mainstream conversations about political correctness would understand this, but not a common man in India. I will give an example. One of my friend, very close friend of mine, very pure-hearted friend of mine, she lives back in Kerala, and one day, just casually referring to something, she said that her husband works in Dubai, and he has a friend, and he's a Negro. And I said, please don't use that word, that is not politically correct. I mean, I didn't use that word because she wouldn't understand. And I said, please don't use that word, it's not right way to use it. And she said, oh, no, no, I didn't mean any offense. I said, I know you didn't mean any offense. Of course, I know, dear. But it is not right to use. Then she said, okay, fine. I will be more careful from now on. That's the kind of person Balram is. And the author unfearfully has demonstrated this, has included this in many occasions. Sometimes when he's referring to Muslims, and sometimes when he's referring to South Indians. I hope if somebody is reading the book, and if this is included in the movie, it offends nobody, because I don't think the author meant any offense. It's just the way. most of the people in India are. We are not that exposed to being politically correct. And I know that in the West, it's like, yes, you are, even if you're not supposed to say, you should be aware of all these things. I don't think we as Indians have reached there. So I hope nobody takes offense. Three bones to pick with this book. One is the fact that Balram was never named so by his own parents. He went to the school to register, and on the first day of his school, teacher asks him, "What's your name?" And he says, "My name is Munna." And then he says, "No, not that. That's your pet name, maybe. What's your actual name?" Then he says, "I don't have any other name. My parents did not name me. They didn't have the time to do that." I don't think in India ever, how no matter how poor or busy they are, parents will leave the chance of naming their kids, just to the school teacher or school master. So that I found a little bit inconsistent and not true. And the second one is that the references to the servants' quarters when he reaches the apartment in Delhi where he lives. And at least in Bangalore and back in Kerala, we do not have this setup of servants' quarter, no matter how big the apartment is. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's a minor thing, not much important, maybe. The last thing and the most important thing that I have to talk about is the caste system that's being referred to here. So, this guy is from the caste called Halwai, sweet maker. And caste system in India is this hierarchical system that you have to carry from your birth till your death, and that decides where in the social strata you are. Most of it doesn't exist today. Much of it in maybe how it existed in the past, but of course it's still there. And just like as I expected, like in any other mainstream narratives, the references to caste system is very brief, and it is just mildly brushed upon, and it's not bold enough. And also, I did not like the way the caste system has been referred to as a system of order, and where everybody was happy, everybody knew their place, and everybody was happy. Cow herds and pig herds and sweet makers and landlords in their own place. That is quite a misleading picture of the caste system. I know that maybe he was uh, trying to be politically incorrect, since he's narrating the story through the eyes of Balram, but at least some references to it should have been made later on, at least through the eyes of this American educated boss of Balram, or the Pinky Madam. Somebody should have referred to it, right? On the other hand, everybody from the servants to the masters, it looks like they know everybody's position, and you know that you are supposed to be hit by and slapped by your masters, and it's okay, which is not okay. So I would have loved to see some references to caste system, and also some references to the way Indians treat their housekeepers. uh, I hate the term servants, so that's why I'm not using it. So I think we have to wait much longer when there comes along a mainstream author who can actually touch the subject of caste system without fear and boldness, and portray it as it is. To conclude, I really enjoyed reading this book. I finished it in 2 days, that 2 working days. So that's a huge achievement for me because I'm a very slow reader. And this book is a very honest and raw picture of India, which we hardly get to see in mainstream narrative. And you see the unseen faces of India, who are usually pushed to the ghettos behind the walls built right before a foreign president or prime minister is visiting, lest they embarrass them with their poverty and their slums, and put a dent on the India is shining image that is nicely caricatured by the Indian government, whichever government that is. Yeah, not just the current government. I'm just referring to any government that comes into power. Throughout this book you have this question in the back of your head. I think that's the question that the author wants you to think about, and you will definitely think about it because you know the outcome, or you know the kind of the ending of the book in the beginning itself, because the author reveals it, uh, where it's going to head. And because of that, you have this question in your head. Is it okay that due to the pressure of the circumstances of repeated humiliation and exploitation, that a man who is innocent, who starts off as naive, becomes the devil himself, a successful and kind-hearted devil? Is it okay or not? I think that's the overall question that the author is asking the reader, and the answer is up to ourselves. And I think all of you should read this book, definitely. And of course, we are all eagerly waiting for the movie as well. I hope it comes out good. So this was my review. Please let me know what you thought about it. And if you read the book, please let me know how you found it. And like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll be soon back with amazing bookish contents.